involved game, but
All right.
also it's not like licensed music, I don't think.
Man.
Well,
Or it's
I think
Japanese
that's kind of the
licensed
draw
music.
for me.
Yeah, you need word up.
Word.
Yep.
We have a stream live on the internet, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hello, internet.
Hello, party people.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I can't answer that question.
I'm gassy. I guess.
I guess.
Should have saved that for the. You should have saved that for your fun intro clip.
No, those are usually completely random, so.
I'm trying to decide where best to place my microphone stand. Now I have one.
Dang, so fancy.
Is my volume good? Do I need to get up on the mic?
No, you're fine.
Or am I good back here?
Yeah, you're good back there.
Yeah.
Get up on the mic and talk real low like
No,
this.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
No.
Let's get it on.
Wow.
Come
All right.
on, sugar.
Well, this was episode 7.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. This has been episode 7. Goodbye.
I'm glad we discussed the game of the year
Haven't
this
even
episode. So.
See you next year.
I'm just gonna also share the stream.
Yep.
And then I guess we should probably start.
I'm sharing it.
Now I have like good microphone quality. I'm like, maybe I should actually share this with people now.
Maybe humans should experience this.
Yeah.
Sound very good.
Now I have like good microphone.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Wow, I can hear that hot quality coming through.
Spectacular.
Okay. Everybody ready to podcast?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Game and Fix. No, that was last week. Episode 7 of Game and Fix, the world's most professionally introduced podcast about video games made by several friends who know each other from the internet. My name is Sam. Today we have got Pat.
Hello.
Back from the dead.
Yeah.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
And Erica.
Hi. Still not dead.
Andre.
Dead on the inside.
And Alex.
Hey, always dead, always living, just kind of right in between. I don't know.
Schrodinger's Alex.
Mhm.
You'll never know until you turn on the stream. As usual, we're going to be going with our standard format, which is going to be talking a little bit about the games we played this week. Everybody has brought a game that they think is special or funny or what have you. And then after that, we're going to run through some gaming news. And then after that, we're going to have a really bad outro and finish the podcast.
Talk about Black Panther for like an hour.
No, we're going to postpone our Black Panther chat depending on when people get time to see it. But yeah, for those of you who are big Marvel movie fans, we're going to do an episode of Movie Fix at some point in the near future about Black Panther once enough people have seen it, as only Pat and I have seen it so far. And I think Alison is currently watching Black Panther.
Everyone
So
should go see Black Panther, however. Safe for
I would highly
discussion
recommend that movie.
podcast, but it is a fantastic film.
I cannot see it until March 1st, so send your thoughts and prayers.
Well, that's the only thing that we can send. Moving swiftly on. Pat, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a few things as usual, but the thing that I wanted to talk about, I haven't played as much as some other stuff, but I think it's a interesting thing that I haven't seen as much discussion as I expected. But I've been checking out a little bit of Laser League here and there. So Laser League is a arcade multiplayer action game, kind of. It's not similar to Rocket League, but I would say it exists in that genre of like, it's not really the samurai gun style of like hot seat multiplayer gaming that you would that kind of became big. It's more of like something I would expect to play online, but it's definitely got that like super fast-paced action that a game like Rocket League has. Just a totally different format, obviously, because it's not cars pushing soccer balls around. But essentially, there's 6 different character classes in the game. Your character class is important, but at a base level, it's a 3v3 action game where you're in kind of an arena. Trying to remember what the name of it was, but it looks kind of like a hockey rink a little bit. It's just this sort of rectangular arena with rounded corners that you can kind of wrap around. So when you hit one side of the arena, you bounce around to the other side like it's a globe.
Oh man, is it like NHL hits with lasers?
A little bit, I guess. I mean, there's no scoring. The scoring mechanic is eliminating other players. So what happens is these pylons spawn around the map, and the goal is to run into them before the other team runs into them, and then it spawns a like laser beam in different patterns depending on the post. There's several different arenas. The different arenas don't really matter except that each one of them has a set of patterns that can be the game's pattern. So you get to know before the game starts which pattern you're going to be dealing with, and then that pattern dictates how the pylons spawn and what lasers come out of the pylons. So essentially, you are trying to hit the pylon so that your lasers spawn and the field is covered in your colors, your team's colors lasers. So whenever the enemy team runs into your lasers, it eliminates the player that hits it. So you can res your teammates by running over them. All you have to do is touch like their corpse, basically. And then the different abilities of the classes is kind of where the depth of the game comes into play. It's really precise, and the controls are really precise because obviously you're trying to like weave your way through these different laser beams and hit them when they go down so they come up as your color. But then you've also got these character classes, like there's a ghost, which is like a medic. They can trigger a temporary invulnerability where they can just sort of like slide through the other team's lasers without dying. So the idea with them is that they can get through the lasers to resurrect team members because you get a couple seconds of invulnerability when you res. There's shock, which like temporarily stuns people, so they fall down on the ground, and then if they get hit by a beam, they'll die, so they can't dodge. There's a sniper, which like drops like a beacon, and then anything that passes between them and the beacon, they can trigger their ability again, and they warp to the beacon and kill anything in between. So they're like a super high skill. I've seen snipes kill the entire other team before, and it's amazing. Then there's like one class that's just does straight melee attacks and kills people. There's another class that steals pylons with their ability. So basically, there's enough different classes that you're never going to see. It's 3v3, so you're going to have a different mix every time. And it just feels really, really good because you sort of spawn in and you have your chosen class. You sort of set up and you see the rest of your team and what they're picking. Each class has 2 different modifiers. So usually it's like extends the length of the ability or makes it charge faster. Because you can only use your ability every so often. But that one ability is the only thing that differentiates the classes. So it definitely doesn't feel like a MOBA or something like that because it's not a set of abilities that you have. You have one thing you can do. And it's just a lot of fun. There's a ton of unlocks. They have like 200 different things, cosmetic things to unlock already, all done through play. There's no microtransactions or anything like that. And you can just kind of like the way that it's structured is you play best of 3 and then to win a match, and then best of 3 or best of 5 to win a match, and then best of 3 matches. So like basically you're trying to win 3 points and do that twice out of 3 games, and then you win the full thing. They don't really have a lot of ranked related stuff right now. It's kind of just queue and play. But I imagine as it's in early access now, as it gets closer to release, they'll launch ranked leagues, kind of like what Rocket League has. The thing that I think is fun about it is it's like super different, and it's a kind of a cool opportunity to get in at the ground floor of something kind of like Rocket League. Because the problem with Rocket League is if you just start playing it now, you're going to get trashed playing it on the internet because people are so good at that game now. I still recommend people play it because it's super fun, but this is a little bit easier to wrap your head around than some of the higher level Rocket League play. It's more because it all takes place on a 2D plane. And then on top of all that, it looks really cool too. It's got this sort of future sport. It's supposed to take place in 2150.
Yeah.
Cybertron aesthetic.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
It's really cool.
I looked at
I think it's like $15.
I looked at some screenshots and I was gonna ask how much has it made you want to go back and watch Tron or Tron Legacy?
I've seen those movies a lot, so but so I guess always, but I think I went into it kind of expecting it to be a lot more like Tron, more like Tron Light Cycles, and it's really not. It's interesting because you have to rethink how this kind of a game works, because it doesn't matter. Unless you're one of the classes, the one class that has a melee attack that kills people, you running into each other doesn't do anything. You're trying to activate the pylons and use lasers to kill each other. There are a couple classes that can do that too, but like identifying what's the other team playing, what are their capabilities, and then trying to think about that while also be precise and not run into the enemy team's lasers and hit your own lasers and watch out for your teammates to keep them alive. It's a lot to think about, but and it moves really fast, but it doesn't move so fast that it's like frustrating to play. It's just got a really nice mix of a lot of stuff to think about, a lot of stuff to do with like a game speed that allows you to pick it up and play it without just feeling like you're never going to ever get it.
It looks cool.
Cool. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. It's on sale for $10 right now, actually. So I'd say I would recommend it.
I'm assuming that's a PC game.
Yeah, it's just on PC right now. I would imagine. I assume they're going to do a console release at some point too. It seems like it would be a really good game for really any consoles, but it does seem like it would be a great Switch game because you can play it locally. So if you could, and you don't need any kind of split screen or anything because the whole game happens on the screen. So you could definitely leverage the ability to play with more than 4 people on PS4 at least. I don't know if you can do that I don't think you can do that with Switch. I think it only allows for 4 simultaneous players, but you could totally have it work on consoles that support more than 4 people really easily. And it would also be really good for Switch, I think, because even with 4 people, you can play doubles too.
That's interesting. I mean, like also you could do 2 Switches, 8 players, etc., etc.
Yep, totally. It doesn't really work for more than 3v3. I don't think a 4v4 would work unless they did new maps, and I think it's pretty well. They seem to have it. I think the only reason they're putting it in early access is just as sort of a way out if something isn't working with it, or if people have a problem with balance stuff, they can claim that they're just working on it further before full release. The game's done though. I mean, I think they're going to add more cosmetic stuff, but it's pretty much feature complete. It's perfectly playable and everything. I think a 4v4 mode would require a lot of tweaking of how everything works.
Okay, cool. So moving on, what about Alex? What have you been playing?
Hey, my week was kind of weird for video games because I was out for most of the week. I was in the mountains. I was hiking and like getting stuck in waist deep snow and hanging out with wolves and shit. So,
Standard Canada stuff.
Yeah, it was very Canada stuff, which was great because Cheska, my significant other, is with me and she's from a tropical country, so she got to experience being stuck in waist deep snow.
Oh no!
Yikes!
I'm not sure if you're hearing this intense rumbling sound. Okay, there it goes. My dryer was going crazy. Anyways, I did play 2 games, one of which I'm sure Eric is going to talk about, so I'm gonna hold off on it.
I am.
Yep, I've put like 2 hours into that game, Erica, today, and it's pretty great.
I've put probably about 6 hours since last night.
I think it's worth
pretty
that.
good.
We'll get there.
Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 15 Pocket. No, we'll get there. But I picked up Faye, but I haven't started it. Just haven't had time. But I did start and finish one game that came out on Valentine's Day called Speed Dating for Ghosts, and so it comes from a game company called Copy Chaser, and I'm familiar with Copy Chaser because it is my cousin. So full disclosure, that is my cousin. So take any of my opinions with a grain of salt, I guess. But he was also previously a writer and editor for BioWare. He worked on Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Like he did a lot of the dialogue and the codec stuff. So he's a very experienced writer with games, and him with his friend made this visual novel dating game kind of thing. But I hesitate to say either, because it's not really either. It's technically you're doing speed dating, but it's not actually like dating because you're ghosts. Like how do ghosts date? But it's extremely well written.
Don't ghosts date.
Like they would just like go through each other, wouldn't they? But like they're going in for a smooch. They're like, bah. But it's super well written, and it's just a series of a bunch of really it's just a bunch of vignettes, I guess is the best way I could put it. Is you choose a room that you're going into. There's 3 different rooms. And then you're presented with 3 different ghosts who, it's speed dating. So you go around a table, you get like 2 minutes or whatever with them each time. And you kind of learn about them. So you're learning about each of these characters, and there's 10 overall. And you're just learning all about them, like how they died, what their lives were like before they died, their cause of death, how they felt about death. What do they do now that they're dead? Like, do they just kind of wander? Like this one girl's like, I'm just going to learn Japanese because I got all this time and I can just like float my way over to Japan. So like, it's really interesting to get like their reactions and how well adjusted they are to getting to being dead. Like one of the characters is from like the 1600s and one of the characters is from like 2016. So you get like a really broad range. Some of them are friendly. Some of them are poltergeists. Some of them are vengeful. Like, it's really, really interesting. And it's a really unique game because it's really sad. Like some of the stories that end up happening are just like almost made me like tear up. I was like, oh God, that's so sad. Like the girl who doesn't believe she's dead yet. Like she's just like, wait, you're a ghost? Like that kind of thing. Like she doesn't realize that she's a ghost, and she's like, yeah, you should play that. So despite it being really sad, there's also a ton of optimism behind it. Like it's just really, really, I felt it was extremely strong writing. The only criticism I have for it is it's a little bit expensive. I think it's $10 right now, and I got about like 2 hours out of it. So I think it's a little on the expensive side, and so I might wait for it to go on sale, but I think it's totally worth experiencing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how much did you get sponsorship money for us? I mean, you can cut this part out.
I did not get a free copy of it. I purchased it with my own dollars.
So you're saying we don't have a discount code, or?
Well,
like,
what you do is you go to stamps.com.
Yeah.
Enter
9420 6969420 is your download code.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some pretty good vape jokes in there, by the way.
Go on.
Whole life is a
Jokes about vaping, or like jokes at the expense of vaping?
I guess you're going to have to play and find out.
Well, I think I have to start vaping, so I make sure I get the jokes. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll get back to it. Speaking of getting back to us, Andre, I see you've rejoined us. What have you been playing this week?
Same thing. I've been playing Dragon Ball and Monster Hunter. I'm nearing the end. As soon as Into the Breach. As soon as Into the Breach comes out, the game from the FTL devs, that's when I'm gonna move on to something new. But right now I'm kind of at the point where I don't really in either of those games unless it's with other people. Not because they're bad, but just because kind of I feel like I've run experience with single player course of those games. I'm still trying to get better at Dragon Ball, but it isn't for me. I don't like just sitting in there and mashing out combos, because as soon as I get into a match with a real person, so I don't. Yeah. They did announce the first 2 DLC characters for that.
It's in the news.
Yes, but just give Sam a seizure. I don't know if he was going to include that, but yeah, we'll cut that out. What I'm Hunter rank 45 in Monster Hunter, which is
Yikes.
like you get a final, like the final endgame content at 49. So almost there, but I'm only really gonna play probably with other people from now on, or maybe a few games here and there by myself just to get up to 49. Those games are still good. I look forward to what they do with them in the future.
Have any of you guys done the whatever it is, the Street Fighter quest for Monster Hunter yet?
Not yet.
Oh yes, I have unlocked the Ryu skin. It's a pain. If you can do it with another person, that makes it go faster. Just because it's based on, you get like an item and you need 7 of the item, get 8 pieces, and I don't think and you get more items based on how fast you do it. More than 8 minutes, you only get 1. Do it less than 8 minutes, you get 2. You do it in less than 4, you get 3, I think. A few times by myself, and there is no way you can do it in less than 4 by yourself. So, I mean, you can only do it with 2 people. So, Street Fighter 5. You need a Street Fighter 5 save on your PS4 at the moment to do it, but it will come to other people later.
I think I'm just going to end up buying a copy of Street Fighter 5.
Jesus.
You're gonna be able to get it later.
Well, no, but I want a copy for my own, library.
Sure. So kind of weak, and also you have to have all of it equipped. You can't just equip like one part. So, plus game stuff. If I go into like low rank hunts because I'm like, oh, I need like low rank parts for this thing, then like sure, it's not. But if like, yeah, I'm not going to go into high rank hunts looking like Ryu because the armor is trash.
But what if you could go into high rank hunts looking like Goku?
Oh well, no question.
So Orange Ryu, you'd be in for it, but current Ryu, no.
Goku would kick Ryu's ass.
Yeah, he would.
No question. Like
Ryu, but their outfits are pretty similar, is what I'm referring to.
I mean, so with the Karate Kids, like whatever.
Oh, he's got sleeves.
Like saying Goku and the Karate Kid are on the same level? I don't think so. It's totally different.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Goku wears shoes. Ryu's
weighted shoes.
Abnormally large feet. He's got like elephantitis in his feet. Have you seen that man?
Who do you think would win in a fight? Would it be Ryu or the dude from the raid?
Probably Ryu.
Ryu can shoot fireballs.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
That's a big advantage.
Ryu is a wizard.
Yeah.
Dude from the raid has been through some shit, though.
Does the dude from the raid get to bring a gun? Because I feel like that's an advantage.
No,
that's true.
He doesn't use a gun at all in those movies.
Does a fireball, a Hadouken?
I mean, they're a force of nature, so I imagine he'd be able to.
Yeah, but they travel slower than a bullet.
True.
But like, would the bullet just like disintegrate in the Hadouken?
I think so, but you'd have to like the timing on that. Like, that's pretty tough. Because bullets, I mean, you're not going to be able to reactively fire a Hadouken.
Frame perfect Hadouken, a bullet.
That's not how it works in real life.
Half circle back, like as soon as you see the gun drawn.
Yeah.
It's not. You also don't throw fireballs in real life, so I don't.
Maybe you
Yeah,
don't.
maybe you don't, man. Come on.
You're not a wizard. Not yet. I can give you a small update on my Dragon Ball Z Kai watching. I'm at like episode 28 or something now. And
100 in the anime, or in the original.
And I can give you my top 3 characters. So number 1, Piccolo. Number 2, Krillin. And number 3, Master Roshi.
Oh.
Roshi.
Yajirobe's terrible.
Your top 2 are correct, at least.
The most baller I think I've ever seen in any anime ever is Prince of Tennis. But number 2 is when Piccolo regrows his arm by thinking hard.
It's such a dumb
One
show.
He has to regrow both at once.
What?
Yeah.
It's incredible. Look, I mean, I could talk about Prince of Tennis all day, but why don't we hear from Erica and
Can you
about what she's
actually-
been playing this week?
Can you go first? I'm sorry. Something's downloading here, so it's like I'm trying to get Xavier to shut it off. So my thing's a little bit choppy right now.
Go for it.
Okay, so Prince of Tennis. No, so I've been playing. I've been playing a few games. I've actually put like probably about 6 hours into mobile games this week, which is unusual for me. But I wanted to limit myself to one thing to bring this week. So I'm bringing the thing that I think is probably the most relevant to our audience and to you guys, which is Florence. You guys probably can't see it because my camera's terrible.
And the machine, or just Florence?
Florence. So Florence is a it's the best way to describe it. So Florence is a like a interactive graphic novel, where all the interactivity is like WarioWare games. So there'll be like, I'm going to try and get an example up here.
This will play really well for our audio listeners.
Yeah, it's worked super well for the audio listeners. But yeah, so like this is so spoilers, it's about a relationship. And this is where she meets the guy. And like it kind of gives you little bits. But see, when you have to make conversation, you have to make the speech bubble out of these puzzle pieces. And like the easier the conversation, the easier the puzzle becomes. So like it's really, really clever. So you just make this like puzzle doohickey up, whatever. And then so you make the puzzle piece up and she'll say something. And as they get to know each other, the puzzles become simpler. So you see that 6 pieces instead of 8, and it gets simpler and simpler. And then like there's great bits as well where like she's in a fight and the puzzle pieces become like 2 pieces because she's not thinking about what she's saying. And there's other stuff as well, like there's you can have conversations with your mum, and it's like the only spoken or written words in the entire game are these conversations that you have with your mum, which are really cool. It's I would totally wholeheartedly recommend it. So it's kind of like like I was saying, it's kind of like an independent graphic novel, but you kind of play along. I don't get the sense that there's much choice. You make choices in some conversations, but I feel like the story goes where it goes, no matter what you do. But I think that's kind of the point. So it's from the guys who developed Monument Valley. So if any of you guys have played that, I would say it's more polished. It's like probably one of the best made mobile games that I've played. I like super highly recommend it. It takes about 2 hours. Costs about £5, so probably about $6. And yeah, not really much more I can say about it because I don't really want to spoil any of it because the entire game is story. I don't know whether it will come to Android because I know most of you guys are Android users. Mostly because I think I saw a quote from the developer about Monument Valley saying that 80% of the versions of Monument Valley installed on Android phones are pirated.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see if it actually did come to Android devices because I think that they see that as a huge loss. But on the plus side, it is on Android, it is on iPhone and iPad. I played it on iPad. I haven't tried it on my phone, but it ran really, really well. It's like smooth. The music's fantastic.
Do you think it would be? Do you think it would scale well to an iPhone? Like, would the puzzles, if they're super complicated, would they be hard to see? Or
it never really gets complicated. So one of the reasons that somebody on Polygon compared it to WarioWare, and that really hit the spot in terms of like how I was trying to contextualize it, because like that puzzle piece game that I was showing you guys is basically the hardest thing you do in the game.
Okay.
I expect that it would scale exactly fine to phones, mostly because a lot of the stuff you're doing is like tapping and swiping. Like there's some interesting stuff where you like get to tidy up your boyfriend's apartment, and it's like the places you tidy stuff and things like that. It's quite funny.
That great privilege of tidying up your boyfriend's apartment.
I never know whether it's meant to be you tidying up the boyfriend's apartment or the boyfriend tidying up his apartment before he gets there. But you never control the boyfriend. You only control Florence. So, don't know. But yeah, it felt super real to me. Like even though I didn't hear a single word that the two characters said to each other, the relationship felt super real. I couldn't recommend it more, I have to say, especially because, like I said, it's only like £5. I know.
Actually, I just purchased it. It appears to be $2.99 on the US App Store.
There we go. It might have even been £3 actually. Might have been $2.99 here.
Yeah.
But I pre-ordered it as soon as it was announced because I was like, oh well, Monument Valley was good. I've got faith in this game. And the artwork's pretty. I don't recommend it at all. It was super cool. But yeah, so highly recommended. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it next week, Pat. I
Sure.
mean, you won't be on the podcast, but you can text me about it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Erica, what have you been playing?
Okay, so it's kind of been a busy week, so I haven't been able to play a whole lot. But right as I was thinking, oh man, I really got to play something, so I have something to talk about. But as soon as that happened, Alex's wonderful girlfriend, Cheska, tagged me and Alex in a post from Kotaku talking about an idle clicker called Cat Condo. And
Dude,
I mean,
right?
it's free, so I was like, okay, let me get on this right now. I swear I pay a lot of money on games like all the time. I spend tons of money on it. I just feel like I've been playing free games or really old games like the last few weeks. But anyway, this game's really cool. It's really fun. I don't know. I've been playing quite a bit of it. So essentially you have this little cat condo. Oh, it's not coming up.
No.
Oh well.
Oh,
Let me turn down the brightness. Anyway, so you got this little cat condo, and you take two cats of the same type and you drag them on top of each other to create the next level of cat, and then you keep doing that until you reach, the next cat that you haven't had before. And so it seems that there's 40 cats in the game. I have the first 12. So the one issue I have with this game is that it has a definitive ranking of cats, cat breeds, because it's decided which cats are the best cats and which cats are the worst cats, I guess. And like the most basic cat is kitty cat. So like the first couple of cats, it's like kitten. But then they get into
Sorry, stream, or sorry, podcast. I just lost audio.
is a white
I don't know because it's grayed out for me for now, but I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of looks a little Napster to me.
Yeah.
The Napster cat is the best cat. That is
the Napster cat might be the number 40 cat.
Somebody called Justin Timberlake. I think he needs to sue.
But yeah, Erica, I play a lot of, or I have played a lot of clickers, and I think this one might actually legitimately be my favorite. Not because like it's about cats, but like it's like the best part of, like, let's say Adventure Capitalists or like Candy Box or something. Like it's weird, but it's also kind of like Threes or 2048. Like it's
that's what I was. The Threes comparison seems apt.
Yeah, like it's got the style of Threes, and like it's just so cute and fun. Like I really like it a lot.
The other thing too that's kind of nice is that I mean, there's like the coin doubling if you watch an ad every time you come in and stuff, but you really don't have to. They have like, prizes. You get like these little presents that pop up every once in a while that'll spin you like a cat, and you can get like, you can upgrade your cat by watching a video, but you really don't have to. Like there's no, they never made me feel like I have to, but I think I'm gonna probably kick in some money for like there's like a 50% speed increase that's like $3, and there's like
Yeah.
a $2 thing that you could buy to upgrade the cats that you get out of your box every once in a while. But yeah, it's a clicker if you decide you want to click for it. But
Look at this screenshot. It's so adorable.
But
This is on the store page.
I think for a sorry, I was gonna say for a mobile game, I think it's maybe the least obtrusive free to play game I've ever played, because
I think maybe like, Crossy Roads was slightly like maybe just as unintrusive to me, but yeah, it's like very not aggressive at all about trying to get you to watch ads or pay them money, which makes me want to pay them money.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. It's an awesome little game.
Yeah.
Cool. I will play that when we finish this podcast.
I'm playing it currently.
Sorry, Neko Atsume was an actual game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it also looked like to me. I think Threes is probably my favorite mobile game ever made. So the like dragging stuff together is really, really cool. That's like the way that it's just a fun mechanic for things to get bigger and more exciting as you combine them.
Yeah.
I just disagree with
Threes without the music.
But yeah, you should totally play Cat Gondo.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've installed it already and shared it with Fiona. But yeah, moving away from Cat Condo and on to news. So let's have a look here. So I've gone through this week's worth of news, and I feel like I've got some pretty good ones to talk about this week. And we've got things such as PUBG, Fear Effect, Shaq Fu. But first, I want to start a little quick segment. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the segment on Polygon's YouTube channel, Griffin's Amiibo Corner.
Sure. Yes.
Well,
I'm into more.
Well, I'm gonna not do the vor aspect of this.
Is this Sam's Totaku Corner?
Oh no.
No. So now, what I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about some new amiibo that have been announced.
Huh?
This is disappointing because I was hoping the Wii Shop channel music was better. This is what I was looking for. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm also sorry for everyone listening for the audio quality. So, Splatoon 2 is getting 2 new amiibo. It's going to be Marina and Pearl. Now, I have every Splatoon amiibo physically available to purchase, and these 2 are going straight on my Amazon wishlist. They look very good. They are they're actually pretty good sculpts. So they're like really good poses. Yeah, I'll buy them and I'll review them on the podcast. I haven't bought an amiibo since we started recording.
If you don't put it in your mouth, it's not a review.
Yep, I was gonna say I need to eat it and finish it.
And I do mean finish it.
Yeah, I have not bought an amiibo since we started recording our podcast because I promised my fiance I would take a 6-month break, but it's almost over. So back to news. Anyway, that was Sam's Amiibo Corner. Now back to news. I'm not even joking. I spent the first 3 minutes of the podcast where Pat was talking about Laser League trying to find an air horn app for the iPhone.
Really worth
But
having.
I decided the shop music was much better. So, news
I don't know. I
1.
think pure air horns throughout that entire segment would have been pretty good.
I mean, to be fair, pure air horns throughout all day, every day is pretty good.
Now, Here we go. I don't know why I haven't been doing this before. I should be screen sharing all the news
Yeah.
articles. I don't know how this works. Can you guys see that?
We can see
Yeah.
I
it.
mean, we can see that. We can't see you.
Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, you guys are missing out on the good stuff, but it's fine. Okay, so you can.
Why is
You
it
probably.
so skinny?
Oh,
Long Mario.
there we go. Let's fix this. Is this-
It's a Google issue, not a you issue. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
I think it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Right, so number one news article: Shaq Fu, the sequel, is finally coming out in spring. I
News
think
from Polygon.com.
Yeah, news provided by Mike McWhirter at Polygon.com. So Shaq Fu is kind of great, and sorry about that. Shaq Fu is kind of great. I think it's extremely funny idea.
This is crowdfunded, right?
Indiegogo 2014.
It is, yeah. It got funded on Indiegogo in 2014. So it's coming to Switch, which I definitely am going to purchase, I think. PS4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. So that's kind of funny. So that should be a good time. Next, does anybody have any thoughts on Shaq Fu, apart from it's really stupid?
No, just pretty much it's really stupid.
Does it have Goku?
Who do you think would win in a fight, Shaq versus Goku?
Okay, now that's a tough one because Shaq's pretty tall, but Goku's beaten tall people before. But I don't know, Cell was taller than Goku, and Goku couldn't beat him, so I might have to give the edge to Shaq.
It's got reach.
Yeah, he's got reach. I don't know if you can see in the screenshot, but he's actually pretty buff there.
I mean, are we talking about Shaq Fu Shaq, or are we talking about real life Shaq that talks about how he doesn't fit in small cars? Like,
Maybe he does that wiggle with the cat, like that one GIF.
yeah, that Shaq would win. Real life Shaq would win. Not sure about video game Shaq.
Next news story. PUBG has sold 30 million copies on PC, but player numbers is going down. So I heard a little bit about this on, this is also from Polygon, from Charlie Hall. So I heard a little bit about this on Kind of Funny Games Daily this week. They're basically, whilst they've sold 30 million copies, the concurrent player numbers have started to go down pretty steeply. So from an average of probably the late 200,000s in like December, January time, in February they're in the like early 200,000s. So interesting to see. Interesting to see that we're not getting as many players on that game.
Well, so Fortnite's free. It's a different experience, but it's a similar experience. They're banning cheaters left and right. The game's been out for almost a year. I mean, in early access, but almost a year. It costs, what, $30 US?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. There's a lot of factors. That's still, like, a bigger player base than some games sell copies. So,
I think the other thing,
they're not in trouble.
the other difference between Fortnite and PUBG, I've played probably 5 or 6 games of PUBG since it came out in like out of early access, and I've gotten killed by a cheater in every single game. And like the reason that cheating, I mean, people know this, but the reason that cheating is so rampant there is because there's monetary value behind the items that you get out of the loot boxes. So like botting and cheating is so big there because of that. Whereas in Fortnite, that's not a problem. So you can't trade items, sell items, or anything like that. So there's people that cheat in Fortnite are just doing it to ruin other people's time, and those people exist, but they don't exist in the same kind of numbers as they do people who want to farm items. So I think that's a huge factor. And Fortnite Battle Royale is pretty good. It's a different thing than PUBG, but it's fine and fun. And for I think a lot of people, they have that and probably don't feel the need to spend $30 to get something that they're having fun with for free. Plus, in Fortnite, you can pick up a legendary drop that turns you into a bush, and that's really good.
It's true.
There's a lot good about Fortnite. I think I've played more games of Fortnite now than PUBG.
I probably have too.
I probably only played about 6 games of PUBG. I just found the entire whole thing extremely boring. But Fortnite, I've played quite a few games with friends now, mostly because the people I know who play games like Fortnite and PUBG, they're playing on console. So they're not playing PUBG really. Most of the competitive shooter guys I know play console.
Yeah. Are you playing Fortnite with them through your PC, or are you joining them on console?
No, I'm joining them on PS4. I
Okay.
think PS4 interface is really cool. I haven't seen the reason yet to switch to my PC. And also, my PC is super loud when I'm playing video games. The fans are really loud. I usually have to put headphones on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bother everybody with that noise in the background. But yeah, I think for me, I think Fortnite is the game that I thought I would have with PUBG. That makes sense, like a much more quick, fun, arcadey game. I know that isn't what PUBG was, but I didn't really know anything about it before I bought it. People just said you should get it, and I trusted them, and then played like 30 minutes too long to refund it.
I think I still like PUBG more than Fortnite. The cheating thing is just so hard for me to get over because I don't know. It's just not fun.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same camp as you. I think PUBG is a better game, but I think Fortnite is more accessible and maybe more fun for more people.
Yeah.
Cool. Next news story. This one's in the mix for Pat. So Pat, here's your Overwatch League minute.
Yeah. This is an interesting thing. First of all, Overwatch League is off this week, and it's painful. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it when the season ends because just not having it for a week has made me very sad. But anyway, this particular news story, the Shanghai Dragons finally signed the first Overwatch League, the first female player. This woman, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name correctly, so I don't want to butcher it. But she Gaguri, she was so good at playing Zarya that originally people claimed she was cheating when she started streaming because she was so good at it. And then she had to prove that she wasn't cheating, which she did by showing like her keyboard and mouse and the stream screen, and show that she's just that good at it. And when the rosters were unveiled for the teams, like a lot of people were like, "What the fuck? Why isn't she on one of these teams?" And a lot of people have said a lot of things about it. I think that a lot of people have said some shitty things about it. I think some people have expressed that like they want her to. They've expressed support for her in ways that I think could have been worded better. All around, it felt kind of like upsetting that she wasn't signed once the season started. But she's finally been signed. She was signed to the worst team in the league, unfortunately. Like they are 0-10, I believe. They've never won a game. Their map differential is like it's insane. Like they just don't win ever. But originally I was kind of pissed that was where she ended up because I think that sucks. But the thing that is true about it is that if she had come into a team that was on top, then, or even a team that was in contention, the concern that I think a lot of people have is that if the team started to do poorer, most likely not because of her, but if it started to do badly, then everyone would blame her and it would be a kind of a big blow. Whereas for her coming into to Shanghai, there's really nothing for her to do other than help the team. If they continue to lose, no one's going to blame her because they're terrible. However, if they start to win games, then there's a pretty direct correlation between them hiring her and winning games. So either way, I think it's a good step forward. I think it's kind of fucking ridiculous that she is like that we have to even that it's newsworthy that one woman has finally been signed when there are plenty of women playing Overwatch that are better than a lot of these people, the guys that are playing on these teams, especially on a team like Shanghai that is terrible. So that's a little frustrating because Overwatch has a more diverse community than a lot of games, which isn't to say that there aren't women playing every game at a level where they should be represented more on esports teams. But hopefully in this case, Gaguri will be able to like be good and lift up this team and encourage people to take her seriously and take women playing the game seriously. I will say kind of take a breath in a separate the other interesting Overwatch League thing last weekend was the end of Stage 1. They had the Stage 1 playoffs. Going into that week, there were, I want to say, 6 out of the 12 teams could have been playing in the Stage 1 playoffs and could have walked home with that prize pool. Everything else aside, the competitiveness of that game or of that league is really, really there. And if you're into if you're at all interested in getting your feet wet with esports, I'd still recommend the Overwatch League as a good place to get in.
Oh my god! So I have a logistical question about the Overwatch League because I don't actually watch it.
Sure.
And I'm trying to ignore the Shaq gifs going on in the background, but so would you consider her like a pub star or a pub stomper with Zarya? Like, does she only play Zarya? Like, is it kind of like Attacker in Dota who only plays Kunkka, and as soon as you ban Kunkka, like he's boned?
So
she plays someone else as well, really well.
Yes.
I can't remember who it is.
I don't remember who it is either. You can't, in professional Overwatch, you can't be a one character player and play professionally, really. It just doesn't work. Typically, people are divided into, each person will have like 2 or 3 characters that are all based around a specific role. She probably, I don't remember who it is. My guess would be that she plays either Reinhardt or Diva also.
Okay, so heavies, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So she would be I think
it's Reinhardt.
So she would be a support player. And typically, like really versatile players, the players that are are some of the most interesting to follow are people who play flex support. So they'll play like Reinhardt or Diva, but they can play them either in super tanky roles or as like heavy burst damage roles. I don't think that that's the way that she plays, but yeah, generally you can't get by playing one character. You need at least 2 in your repertoire.
Okay, good to know.
I'm looking at an article on Paste right now from yesterday that says that she's a little bit delayed by visa issues.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
She's not expected to get in until later in phase 2.
Yeah, which is too bad. I was hoping she was going to play next week because that would be cool to see.
Visa stuff has been a plague for esports for a while. I remember in the League of Legends, I don't even remember what they call the league anymore. So the LP, no, that's the Chinese. Whatever. The League of Legends stuff, they're like bringing over Korean or European players. A lot of times visas help those players up too. So
yeah, it happens in Dota as well.
Cool. Well, back to the
LCS.
news articles.
LCS, that's what it's called.
League Championship Series, yeah.
Local comic shop. So going back to the news stories today, THQ Nordic has bought Deep Silver.
I don't know how I feel about the second half of this headline.
Meaning Saints Row is back at THQ. So interesting to me is that Deep Silver publish a lot of cool Japanese games from my memory, at least in Europe. Like I can't remember now. There was something that I was super surprised was published by Deep Silver that was a Japanese game last year. I'll have to look it up now, but anyone got any thoughts on this one?
Saints Row 3. Sorry.
No, Volitions was always attached to Saints Row, and that hasn't changed at any point. So,
Yeah.
Okay. There's not really much of a change, I don't think.
Yeah, and I think Saints Row 3 was kind of a revelation. It was awesome. Saints Row 4 was okay, and the DLC for Saints Row 4 was kind of terrible. And then Agents of Mayhem is kind of terrible. So, like...
I would contend kind of terrible, maybe not, but not kind of mediocre, definitely.
Not as good as Saints Row the Third.
Yeah. I just happened to replay Saints Row the Third this week too. I don't think that game holds up as well as we like. I mean, and stuff we talked about earlier this week, like any socio-political things aside, I think it's a game that has a lot of really great writing in it, but it's also some of those missions, man, they drag on, and it's like, I get it. I'm shooting rockets at cars and at helicopters.
I get it. It's a text adventure.
So that stuff is amazing, right? There's flashes of brilliance in there that's like super incredible and off the walls. But yeah, I don't know. I think like maybe they could do something cool with that formula again. I don't know.
I think it depends largely on if the same writers are there.
Yeah. I would be interested in seeing them do more smaller stuff. Like what I was saying to you guys is I picked up Agents of Mayhem when it was like $10, and for $10, it's fun. It's a good game. I don't think that if they had launched that game at $10, people would have been like, "Oh wow, what a cool game." They need to focus on, I think, making smaller stuff that maybe doesn't have as crazy a budget associated with it, and that might help.
Yeah, games that Deep Silver publishes in the EU, at least, probably not in America. Persona, all the Shin Megami Tensei series is published by Deep Silver.
Weird.
So I'm about to see THQ Nordic on the front of the next Persona game I buy.
Oh man.
The toy headquarters.
Did you see that? So now, since you evoked Persona, did you see that thing about like the new Persona mobile app that's coming out?
No.
No, I did not. That sounds pretty great.
Sounds like a good news story.
Like you can talk to, see if you can find it. There's a Persona mobile app. You can like have conversations with characters. I don't know if it's only 5, and like earn Persona points.
But will Morgana tell me to go to bed because I need that?
I don't know. I don't. Why didn't this launch with the game? And what? I don't understand the point of this thing. Like, if it was launching alongside a Persona game, and like you could tie it in to like, if you could tie it into like the belief in the Shadow Thieves,
Phantom Thieves.
from like Persona 5, the Phantom Thieves, right? You could tie it into that stuff. That'd be cool, and like see that social media feed and stuff like that. But why?
Why now? Like almost a
I have
year
no
later.
idea what this game is. I'm looking at it.
It's like you can get Persona news. You can get Persona news. How often is that stuff coming out? Like, I mean, they've got the animated series coming out soon, or it's out.
Yeah,
it's
it's
coming out
pretty soon.
And then they've got like Dancing Sun Day, Moon Night, Star Night.
Dancing Moon Night, Star Night, yeah.
Yeah. And then like cross tag battle where maybe all the Persona characters are actually DLC instead of actually in the game. So why?
That's weird.
That's weird. Yeah.
I mean, Persona 5 is one of the like 3 games in my permanent PS4 library, so maybe.
Why?
I just really like Persona 5.
Oh no, the app. Why?
They've seen how well other people have done with Cat Condo.
Oh,
and you can be swiping.
Maybe it's a clicker.
Oh, man.
A Persona clicker.
no, you know what it is?
Jack Frost.
You know what it is? They saw Nintendo doing that weird Splatoon thing, and they're like, "Hey, we want to get on that because we're coming to Switch."
Wait, what if they made a Persona Go where you walk around with the app from Persona 5 and you have to talk to demons instead of catching them in Pokeballs?
Yeah, you have to negotiate with giant dick monsters riding chariots.
I can hang out with Jack Frost. Can I hang out with Jack Frost? He'll call me a hoe?
Totally. Yes.
And the spooky Halloween Frost and Black Frost.
And you can make social links with people in real life. Where you
Exactly.
go to these people. And
Don't be absurd, Sam.
Real life.
Yeah.
Real life. Come on.
You go for drinks in real life, and at the end of the drinks meeting or whatever, they tap a button to say whether you said the right things, and your social link goes
Yeah,
up.
it just reads that you were in the same place as somebody else for like an hour, and that's the time it takes for you to rate the social interaction, and then you each rate it, and then that determines how the social link level goes up.
Oh man,
And
that
then
sounds like a
once we get
nightmare.
high enough, once we get
And
high
then-
enough, we can go back to my room.
I was going to say, and then they link it to your credit score and your social security number.
Anyone you have a high enough social link with automatically co-signs any loans.
That's pretty. You guys know how to make mobile games, right? We should get on this.
Yeah, TM. I've already mailed this to myself in a sealed envelope.
Perfect. I'll do PR. You guys make it.
We'll build it in React.
Next news story: Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tour.
Yeah.
I thought you guys might think this is cool.
This is cool.
Very excited about this. Yeah.
This is also one of the 10 games I own.
Some people
and-
might say it's one of the 10 best games of 2017.
I would have said that. It's on my list. This looks super cool, and I genuinely can't wait to like throw the headset on and just like watch some Assassin's Creed documentaries.
Yeah. So for those who haven't read the article, it's basically that they're having educational tours in the world of Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
There are 75 different ones. There are 25 playable characters, including Cleopatra, Caesar, and Egyptian civilians. And apparently, like, each one is like substantially long.
Yeah.
I'm sure I read somewhere that they're like
They're like a half an hour each. Yeah, they're half an hour to an hour each, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait. So I have I've always had a dream of like developing educational experiences like this using real awesome fun games. Not that there aren't awesome edutainment games. I don't mean that at all. But taking stuff like Assassin's Creed and even like, you know, shooters that are based on historical events and
like Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
I think Wolfenstein. I don't know if Wolfenstein quite qualifies, but sure.
Yeah, it's historically accurate.
But just
History is written by the victim,
explore
my
like,
friend.
subjects and places that people maybe don't learn or that get a lot of misinformation about. And I think like the thing that is my favorite thing about Assassin's Creed, the little bit that I've gone back and played it more and stuff, is I think there's a lot to love there. Its portrayal of Egypt is one that is accurate, pretty accurate given what we know. It's hard to go back and find record, like it's thousands and thousands of years ago, so it's tough. But it's also a pretty positive representation of Egypt, which I think, you know, based on what we know, there was a lot of the negative things that popularly we have kind of saddled Egypt with. We've learned as we uncover more about Egyptian history, isn't really the case. So I think that it's super cool that they're doing this. And like, for example, I have a friend who he and I share an intense interest in Egyptian history for a lot of reasons. And he doesn't play video games at all, except for like old school. He'll buy like those old like plug-in play 25 Atari games from Walmart for $10 sometimes and play that. But otherwise, he doesn't play video games at all. So I'm going to buy him a copy of Assassin's Creed Origins so that he has an opportunity to like experience these tours, even though I know he'd never actually play like the main story.
Yeah.
How is he going to play it?
What do you mean?
How is he going to play Assassin's
His wife plays a ton of video games, so they have a PS4.
Okay. I was like, I'm going to plug it into his Atari 2600.
Sorry, yeah, they do have a console in the house. Yeah,
Man, I'm looking forward to when they do this for Far Cry 5.
dude.
Just watch Justified. Final news story that I picked out, obviously, if you guys have got anything. But I thought this might be interesting to some people, which is that there's going to be a new Fear Effect game coming out in March.
Is that the show where they eat bugs and stuff?
No, that's Survivor.
No, it's Fear Effect. Wait, is it Fear Effect? Is that the name of that show?
It's Fear
That's
Factor.
Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Fear Factor.
So I was about to say, no, it's Fear Factory.
Oh. Yeah,
That's
Fear
a
Factory. The
massive
best.
base.
Ludacris hosts that
concert
show
here.
now. Ludacris hosts that show now.
Wait, what?
Ludacris is the lead singer of Fear Factory now.
No, Ludacris hosts Fear Factor on MTV.
Fear Factor is still on?
I didn't know.
They rebooted
Yeah, it
it.
is.
They
Dude,
rebooted it.
Let's
my God.
end this podcast and just go watch Fear Factor.
With Luda.
Sorry.
Do,
Anyways, Fear Effect.
Commentary track. This looks like a weird version of Fear Effect. Unless I'm misremembering how Fear Effect works.
I've never played Fear Effect. What is it?
It was a third-person shooter, right?
I think that I thought Fear Effect was Fatal Frame, so
It's really not. It's so far from that. Fear Effect is that game that
you
had
can't
those-
see me shrugging, but I'm shrugging.
Nothing about that looks like Fatal Frame.
No, Fear Effect
Yeah,
is that
no, I
game
was
that
pretty
had...
surprised. I didn't watch this trailer. I just picked out the news article because I thought you guys might like Fear Effect.
It's interesting that they're making another one for sure. It's an interesting time for Fear Effect to come back because I remember when I was younger, like that game was very much one of those early like sex in video games because there's like pretty explicit scenes in it. It was really into the idea of like watch these two ladies make out quite a bit. So like it had some just weird, interesting stuff in it. That by interesting I mean like if you bringing that back today, those games would not have not aged well in terms of their like content, and so to try to do it again now is interesting, especially given that that video that you were just showing looks way different than what I remember Fear Effect being.
I feel like I actually owned Fear Effect on the PS1, and
Oh,
that
I recognize that box art.
I remember the box art as well. Oh man, I definitely recognize this. Like, it's trying to be saucy, but not. PS1
It's only so saucy a PS1 game can be.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is really your last story?
Yeah, I didn't order them very well this week.
So
I have another story
mean-
if you want.
it's a much bigger story if you thought it was Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A new Fatal Frame game would be a lot better and bigger news than a new Fear Effect game.
Or if it was like an Eternal Darkness or something, but I have one
Or
more.
a Fear Factor game.
Or Fear Factor.
Or a Fear Factor game hosted by Ludacris.
with the soundtrack from Fear Factory.
On Fear Factor
He did the voiceover in the Horizon DLC or whatever.
Oh.
So apparently, Fear Factor, its original run was 2001 to 2006, was canceled, brought back in 2011 for like a year, and then it was canceled again, and then brought back in May of last year.
Weird.
Yeah.
But okay, I have one other piece of news then if we want something that's not Fear Effect.
Please.
Is that ludicrous?
good choice. Well made, everybody.
Wow. There's a ludicrous music video going on. Anyways, so everyone's
There was a
favorite
copyright infringement.
Yeah, there's no music, don't worry. We can't hear it. So everyone's favorite I don't know what you want to call Swery, but Swery has just announced
Everyone's
that
favorite Swery.
everyone's favorite Swery, maker of Deadly Premonitions and D4 and so on, has announced that he will be making a game with Arc System Works called The Missing.
What the fuck?
I hope it's a fighting game.
I have no idea what it could possibly be, but I'm psyched that Swery's getting to make like something that could potentially have a budget.
Arc System Works, have they ever made anything that isn't a fighting game?
I don't think so.
Well, so he's partnering with Arc. It's his own studio. So Arc
Yeah,
is
the
like, I
White
don't know if they're
Owls?
the White Owls. Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a very He looks like he's in. So there's like plants all around him, but the way he's dressed, he's got this monkey, stuffed monkey.
He always
They're
has
dr-
the stuffed
they're
monkey
dressed-
though.
They're dressed the same. I did not know that. They're dressed the same, and like in the same jacket, in a different color, I guess. But it's the most existential like trailer announcement.
Yeah, it's really worth watching. I can link it to the chat after, but just Google The Missing Swery and you'll probably find the video.
I
swear he's
wonder-
following all of you guys on Twitter because I feel like he tends to follow anybody that ever tweets about video games ever.
We're friends on Facebook.
Are you?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Could you ask him who the monkey is?
He's talked extensively about the monkey.
The thing I worry about with him getting a budget is that part of the charm of his games, I feel, are the constraints he's had to work with monetarily in making them. Like, I don't know because we'll never know, but I don't know if Deadly Premonition would have had the same impact on me if it had looked like a modern game when it came out, and if it had had better voice acting and better controls and stuff. Part of the charm of it was that it was like the weird ass thing that it was. But I mean, I think it has like a great story too, but I don't know.
I think part of it is just how off the wall insane the stuff is.
Yeah.
Like in his portrayals of like American culture, like the D4 with like the clam chowder. Like,
yeah.
Like there are things about his games that are not like, oh, he had to work within his budget, so it's weird. It's like, no, he's just a weird guy, and if like he can make a game that is like fun to play, but then I think that'll be a net positive because it'll get more people in instead of hear like, oh, this game is like it's weird, but it doesn't play well. If it's like it's weird, but it's fun to play, then I think that'll be a good thing for Square.
Probably, yeah.
But there is something to the low budget wonders of things like Deadly Premonition. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. Either way.
Yeah, especially with Arxis involved, and they make a great visual novel for the storylines of their Persona games and stuff. So
is Suda the one making the game about the place with cats?
I think that's also Swery.
Is it? He's making 2 games?
Yeah, he has another one that was kickstarted on Fig, but what's it called?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, I think that's also Swery.
It didn't get. I don't think it got funded.
This will take some.
It moved to Kickstarter after failed Fig campaign. Okay, yeah, that was back in October.
But yeah, I forget what it's called, but I think that is also Swery.
The Good Life.
The Good Life. Yes, that was the one.
Wonder if that actually got funded. So I wonder if he changed the name, or if he's actually still making that. Oh. No idea.
Yeah,
I thought he was like a one game guy. Didn't he take like a little bit of a break because of some health trouble?
Yeah, so he had to stop drinking, which was because if you ever watch his Twitter, like every single night he has Drink King, like with the K capitalized because he's the Drink King. But he's like, doctor says I have to stop or I'll die. And then like 3 weeks later, he's like, oh, Drink King. So
No.
That's not good.
No. Speaking of drinking,
alcoholism is finding people.
I didn't have a good segue there, so I'm glad that didn't go down. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's put a bow on it. So this has been...
This... What?
My...
Are you okay?
My Echo Dot just started giving me all the birthdays of famous people today. Ed Sheeran turned 27, you guys.
Happy birthday, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, make better music, Ed Sheeran.
The fuck are you in Game of Thrones anyway?
Yeah, Andre should be in Game of Thrones.
I should. I would happily live in squalor and die in a horrible flaming fireball.
We said that Game of Thrones is not Street Fighter.
Depends. Can Shaq be there?
I would totally get mocapped in the back of Shaq Fu.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a background actor. Just like, like in fighting games, they have the people in the back just cheering.
Yes.
I would totally do that for Shaq Fu.
Yes, total. Yes.
But I would only do that for Shaq Fu. It's the only game I'm willing to lend my likeness to. in all other games, I'll be played by Troy Baker.
Seems right.
Speaking of being played by Troy Baker, it's not a good
range.
segue. Let's finish this podcast.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So that Andre can start his day and I can finish it.
Speaking of Troy Baker and finishing Nolan North, let's finish this podcast.
Oh, yeah, that works. Yeah, that works well. Alex, where can people find you?
In like 20 minutes, they'll be able to find me on the toilet. But other than that, you can Google me. You're probably watching this through one of my mediums. If you're watching it live, I don't know. Google.
Alex, do you have a like forest camo PS4 controller behind you?
Yeah, this is actually Cheska's. I'm not going to lay claim to this piece of shit.
Wow.
It's tactical.
Yeah, I'm surprised you could see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even see it there.
It's not in the forest, so it stuck out pretty well. You need an urban camo one.
Digital
Andre,
camo.
where can people
Yeah,
find you?
you can find me on Twitter with the Cool Slaw, COOLSL4W, and Instagram Cray_Dre.
And Erica?
You can find me on Twitch in like an hour and a half, where I'll be playing Yakuza 0. On twitch.tv/Zupadupa, XUPAHDUPAH, and my other podcast called Tempered Expectations. That's about video games and wrestling, and occasionally we find other things interesting, but mostly that stuff.
Pat?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at JesterPC. Also be another podcast that I used to be on, I think is going to get kicked off again in the next few weeks. So and that's called The Loop. I can give more details about that when we're actually actively recording again.
Oh, cheating on us, I see.
Does Attack of the Show know?
So you can find me online at SGCH on Twitter and Instagram. I quite like Instagram, and if you want to see pictures of every single one of my amiibo, you can find them there.
Only if
I've
they're in your
never
mouth.
wanted something more. I'm going there right now.
I spend a lot of time taking quite good pictures. So, also, if you want to see a lot of different angles of my kitchen counter. So you can find me at those two places. One thing that I'd like to say is to everybody who is listening, please, if you are listening or watching live or whatever, please get in touch with any of us. Give us feedback, positive or negative. We can take it. We're big boys and girls. And review us on iTunes, please. We're now on iTunes, so
And
please review us
Google.
there.
Google
Google,
Play
yeah.
Store.
Yeah.
Do we have an RSS feed up, Alex?
Yep, we have an RSS. You
Okay.
could probably find us on Napster if you really wanted to.
We're a real
Maybe-
podcast.
LimeWire,
Yeah, we're like
Kazaa.
totally real. Yeah.
All the Hot Torrent site.
Yep.
Waffles FM. Is that a thing?
Pandora. Is that still dead?
We need to get on Stitcher and Spotify
Right.
because those are the
Yes.
two things that people talk about. Spotify podcast.
the hell's Stitcher?
Stitcher is the like podcast
sewing
service that they try and make you pay for.
Oh,
Yeah. It's awful.
weird.
It's a very stupid idea, but a lot of people are on it.
Weird.
Also, next week we're talking the fuck out of some anime.
Yeah, actually, this is a super important point that I probably should have covered multiple times during the show for people who drop in and drop out. But next week we're going to be talking about Made in Abyss, which
Wait,
is
I thought we were talking about Dragon Ball Super.
It's the same thing, really.
Dragon Ball Super ends in 3 weeks? 3 weeks? I think there are 2 weeks. There are 2 more episodes in Dragon Ball Super. Just enough time for us all to finish it.
I also have to finish Dragon Ball Z Kai first, which has 167 episodes. And only 100 of those are available legally in the UK.
Well,
So I'm having to import Blu-rays for the last 67 episodes from France.
Is it in English or in French?
I'll find out when they arrive.
I don't know if it's in French, you need to show me what French Goku sounds like.
Oh,
I
je
would
vais Super
imagine It's
Saiyan.
going to be in Japanese.
Goku. Je suis Super Saiyajin. They wouldn't say Super Saiyajin, they'd just say Super Saiyan.
I've got lots of thoughts about Dragon Ball, which I might have to come back to at some point in the future.
No more Dragon Ball. Save it for the Dragon Ball fix.
Yeah, Dragon Ball fix.
Anytime you want. Anytime you want, Sam. I'm ready.
Call Andre in the middle of the night, and I'm like, Andre, Dragon Ball.
It's time, Dragon Ball.
Spirit
Feel
bomb.
free to call me in the middle of the night. Your middle of the night, because that's morning and afternoon.
Where we're going to be talking a little bit about non-spoilery stuff, and then we'll do a cutting point for those of you who want to drop out.
Kind of like Sam
I
right now.
just recommend watching it before.
I think we've lost Sam, everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I think that's
if
the end
you-
of the podcast.
if you're trying to watch Made in Abyss,
Did a
or,
super professional outro.
Oh, there we go. Sam has returned.
if you're trying to watch Made in Abyss before our podcast next week, it's on Amazon Prime Video. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you'll watch that for no extra money.
Yeah.
How do you live in Japan?
Awesome.
Well, if you're in North America, because I think Alex, you get it too there, right?
Yeah, we do.
On
And
Amazon,
I watched it again actually on Amazon Prime Video, and you know what? That's not that terrible of a service.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just always forget that they have video, so I never watch
Yeah.
anything there.
I just cancelled my Amazon Prime today.
After you got your Goku shirt.
Yep.
So I last closing thought. Thank God video games have gotten like digital rights good, kind of like no more region locking. Because trying to watch, like, I own the Fast and Furious movies in the United States. I've got like digital copies on like Voodoo because they came with codes. I can't watch those in Japan. I own the movies, and why have the digital copies if I'm only if I'm traveling in the U.S.? Yeah, sure, but God damn it! Thank God, even Nintendo got with the program. It's like, hey, buy any version of the game. If there is an English version or like another language, you can play it in that language if your system is set to it, and we've done the localization.
They got that with that program early with the DS too.
Okay, I did not know
It
that
was
was
not region locked.
Yep.
Yeah.
As soon as they got rid of PAL and NTSC.
Yeah, it's like just people. There are distribution deals probably and like business reasons, but like fuck that. Just fucking make it work. Why can't I watch Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift?
In Tokyo.
I think
Yeah,
you're
why not?
using your platform for the most important topic.
Why can't I watch anime in Japan?
Well,
It's their own. Didn't Amazon produce it? Producing Made in the Abyss?
No.
no.
They did not. Okay.
I think it actually might have been NHK.
Oh, and and then they brought it over. So probably a distribution deal. That doesn't make it better. Also, Netflix Japan has like all of Dragon Ball Z on it, but they don't have English subtitles.
Well, on that note, we'll be doing. So I'm going to run through very quickly the really nice outro that I did when everything cut. So next week we're going to be doing Made in Abyss. We're going to do half the show as spoiler free, and then we'll do a hard cut and let everybody know when we're going to cut and go to a full spoiler section. So I'd recommend that you watch the show before you get to us. It's probably about a 4-hour commitment. It's only about 10 episodes. But if you aren't able to, then it is Alex has just put 5 up as a number.
13.
13. Okay, so it's 13 episodes. It's not a long commitment. Realistically, anime episodes are like 20 minutes long. So I know you can all do it. I have faith in you. But if not, then we're going to do a non-spoiler portion next week.
One more thing. Hawaii introduced 4 bills addressing loot box sales.
Sick.
I think one says people under 21 cannot purchase loot boxes, and another one says that the game must blatantly announce, hey, there are in-game purchases in this game, maybe on the front of the box or on the box somewhere. So yeah, that's.
So call your representative.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah.
Speaking of under 21, if you're under the age of 12, don't watch Made in Abyss. Just heads up.
If you're under the age of 12, don't watch anime.
Unless it's what's that? The one with the cat? Something Sweet House.
You can watch Prince of Tennis.
Cheese Sweet Home.
Cheese Sweet Home. Yeah, you should watch that.
Go watch Banana.
Banana, yeah.
If you're under the age of 12, you should only be watching Dragon Ball.
I feel like I've mentioned Prince of Tennis at least 3 times on this podcast. Not this particular one, but on this previous week's, because it has my favorite and most anime moment in anything of all time ever. But yeah, so we're not going to be talking about Prince of Tennis next week. We're going to talk about Made in Abyss. So please watch it if you can. If you don't have time to, then I don't know. Screw you, I guess. Watch the show anyway. And sorry, audio listeners. Alex just did a smash zoom, which was extremely funny. So yeah, make sure to watch the show, and then we'll also be doing a movie fix at some time in the next few weeks, maybe in the beginning of March, so that Andre can be on it as well. Thanks everybody for listening in, and we will speak to you next week. Please rate and review us on iTunes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, Alex.
Later.
Goodbye.
See you, dude.
So long, farewell.
Okay, this needs to end. Bye.